Hello, this is, you know me, Mrs. Powers, just getting my notes done for 2A midpoint and distance formula. And I'm going to flip over here to my page 3 that I've already set up. So you've already written your title and your page number. And for these notes, we're just focusing on the left side of this foldable. So just focusing on the midpoint formula. And this is the formula. It's right here on the front. I'm going to highlight it. M stands for, you guessed it, midpoint. And there's a formula that we can use so that we're not always having to graph and count and find the middle. And we can do this formula simply by adding x1 and x2. And that's how we read that. That's x sub 1. So those are subscript. They're lower than the letter themselves. And x sub 2 divided by 2. That just means you add the two x values together and divide by 2. And then similarly with the y values. You take the y value from each of those points and then divide by 2. Add them together and then divide by 2. So here's our notes. I put a little paper behind just so that it could lay a little bit more flat since I have another foldable on the other side there. So recall, find the midpoint of the line segment with the given endpoints. We have 3, 8, and 5, negative 10. So applying this formula, I'm going to just go ahead and write it at the top here. M equals, since it's on the other side, x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2, comma y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. And now I'm going to label each of these points as x sub 1, y sub 1. Can you see that? It's really tiny, but I'll zoom in. And then this is my second x value, so I give it x sub 2, and my second y value. Now since we're adding, the order doesn't matter too much, but later on we'll do things where we're subtracting, and order really matters when you're subtracting. So I'm going to just go ahead and add together 3 plus 5. And you notice on the front, it's interesting, I don't think I included on the top, parentheses. These parentheses and the comma. So they're in place, they're in the format that we need them to be to look like a point. So that's kind of nice. Oh, I do have them. So I just forgot them here. So M is 3 plus 5 divided by 2, and 8 plus negative 10. That really just means 8 minus 10 divided by 2. And then I'm going to simplify. So 3 plus 5 is 8 divided by 2, and 8 minus 10 is negative 2 divided by 2. And one more time, 8 over 2 is 4, and negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. So the midpoint of these 2 points would be 4, negative 1. Here's a little advanced question. Again, similar to some of those ones that we saw in the practice. If you're given an endpoint and a midpoint, how can we do that algebraically? So the endpoint, we can still label that x1, y1, but the midpoint actually has to go in the spot of the m. So here's how that works. We're actually going to write negative 3, negative 2 equals, and then 9 plus, we don't know the second point, so I'm just going to write plus x2 over 2, comma, 7, let's see, yeah, 7, I just second guess myself, plus y2 over 2. Now what? Okay, let me tell you. So this x value of the midpoint matches up. It needs to equal, right, equal this expression, this algebraic expression in the x spot. And this y value needs to equal the y expression. So we're going to make two equations. Negative 3 equals 9 plus x2 over 2. You can see why we reviewed it, solving equations. The first step to solve, to get x2 by itself, is to multiply both sides by 2. I do parentheses around my negatives so it doesn't get confusing as a minus sign. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. The 2's cancel out, and I have 9 plus x2. Last step, subtract 9 from both sides, and we have x2 equals negative 15. There you have it. We found x2. We now need to find y2. So we're going to set that other equation up. Similarly, negative 2 equals 7 plus y2 over 2. Start by multiplying both sides by 2. These cancel out, and we get negative 4 on the left side equals 7 plus y2. Subtract 7 from both sides, and we get negative 11 equals y2. So again, it said find the other endpoint, so I should write that as an ordered pair. So that answer would be, I'm going to write it up here, running out of space, negative 15, comma, negative 11. Now, does that make sense? Let's see. If the midpoint is negative 3, 2, and we're at positive 9, 7, so if you think about the coordinate plane, 9, 7 is somewhere up here in quadrant 1, right? And negative 3, negative 2, that's somewhere down here in quadrant 3. And we need, so negative 15, negative 11 would be further down. Okay, that makes sense, that this would be the midpoint of these two endpoints. Let's do one more. Okay, endpoint, negative 6, 4, midpoint, negative 5, 1. Think about this one. Try and do it on your own. Press pause, and then come back and check yourself. Welcome back. Midpoint is negative 5, 1, and that goes in the spot where M is. So negative 5, 1 equals this first x1, y1 endpoint, negative 6 plus x2 over 2, and 4 plus y2 over 2. We make two equations. Negative 5 equals negative 6 plus x2 over 2. And then we'll set another equation up. 1 equals 4 plus y2 over 2. So negative 5 equals negative 6 plus x sub 2 over 2. Start to see the pattern here. We're always multiplying both sides by 2 since we're always dividing both sides by 2 initially. So negative 10 equals negative 6 plus x sub 2. Now to get rid of a negative, or sorry, to cancel out a negative 6, we would add 6 to both sides. And negative 10 plus 6 is negative 4. And we're done. So there's, well, we're done with half of it, right? We have to still find our y2 value. So we'll set up that other equation. I'm going to kind of draw a line down so I don't get them mixed up. So 1 equals 4 plus y2 over 2. Multiply both sides by 2. So 2 equals 4 plus y2. Subtract 4 from both sides. And we get negative 2 equals y sub 2. So then my ordered pair is negative 4 negative 2. Again, let's check and make sure that makes sense. Let's start with my first endpoint is at negative 6, 4. So somewhere around here. And then it says my midpoint is negative 5, 1. So somewhere around here. And then my final point is negative 4, negative 2. So somewhere around here. Now clearly this is a sketch. Oh, you couldn't see it, sorry. There's my midpoint. So it looks roughly right around the middle there. So we're good. And that concludes our notes on the midpoint formula. And if you have any questions at all, please, please, please feel free to come and ask and get all the help that you need.